gotten a letter in the mail from a real estate agent saying that they have a buyer for your house? Have you ever wondered if it's legitimate and how does it really work and how would it work for you if you wanted to sell? So I just wanted to share a quick story so that you kind of see on both ends how this really works. So earlier this year, I had listed 2 townhomes in the same community and they were in great shape. Both had recently been remodeled and they went under contract pretty quickly. So maybe a day or 2 before the second one sold, I got a call from a gentleman who said, this townhome's still available. And I said, no, I'm sorry, it's not. But he talked a lot about the community. He liked the amenities, he liked the location. It really worked well for him. He was already familiar with the community. He had walked through several times and kind of observed what was going on there, the way it was taken care of. He was familiar with the HOA fees there. He had a couple of questions about some of the rules and things like that, but we met and talked about it. It turns out he was pre-qualified for a loan. He was on a specific timeline where his lease was going to be up on the place that he had been renting. So he was pretty serious about looking. And he said to me, if you know of any other properties, you hear of anything else coming up, please let me know because I would really like to buy in here. So I said, you know what, give me 2 weeks. Give me 2 weeks. I'm going to see if I can find a property for you to purchase. And so we as realtors have access to some tools, some property tax records and things like that. Now that's not true in every state. Not every state shares that information, but here in Florida we have that. I can go into any neighborhood, filter the properties down to the right amount of square footage, different criteria like that. It turns out there were, I think, 35 properties in that development that matched his search criteria, but I don't know if anybody's willing to sell or not. So I sent a letter and I basically said, hey, I've got a buyer for your property. Potentially, if you're thinking about selling, let me know. Message about 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, from this lady who says, I got your letter. My place is vacant. I already moved out of it. And I'm trying to decide whether I should rent it out or sell it. And she said, I got your letter and I've been sitting on it for a little bit thinking about it. And I didn't know exactly how this worked and if it was a scam. And I don't blame her, really. There's so many scams out there. So I said, well, here's how it works. Told her all about the buyer. Said, hey, I've got somebody who's really interested, and reassured her that he's pre-qualified and he's ready, willing, and able to buy. Asked her a little bit about her property. So I ended up getting a buyer's agreement from him. I got a 3-day listing agreement with her so that if I could match this buyer up with this seller, that he could buy her property but she would not be obligated to list it with me beyond just for the purpose of selling it to this buyer. So she's comfortable with that. He's comfortable with that. We met at the property. It was just like she said, was in really great shape. He really liked it. He spent maybe a half hour there and it really, there was nothing wrong with it. She did a great job getting it ready. It was, like a clean slate. So anyway, later that day, we put together an offer. He signed it. I presented it to her. She took a couple hours, thought about it. She signed it. So then we're under contract, which is fantastic. And really, it's a win for everybody because he's getting the property that he wants at a price he can afford. She's getting to sell her property back, get her cash back out of it. Without having to interview a bunch of realtors and do a bunch of work to get it ready before it sells. She'll have her money in less than 30 days. It just turned into a win for everybody. So if you get a letter from me in the mail saying I have a buyer, it really is legitimate. I really do have a buyer. If you get a letter from somebody else, another realtor, I can't speak for them. I don't know their business and I don't know how they vet their buyers and how that works for them. But I just know that for me, I can promise you if you do get a letter like this from me in the mail, it's legitimate. I really am looking for somebody to sell their property and I really do have a buyer. So call me quickly because I would love to put a transaction together, save you a little bit of money, get them the property that they want, and just create a good win for everybody.